And joining me is Hadley Heath Manning, a senior policy analyst for the Independent Women's Forum. Hadley, it's pretty interesting because the narrative has changed in the media dramatically, and it feels like we've come full circle because entering this election, this was the year that Democrats were going to show America and the world that it was woke, it was young, it was hip, it was about women, it was about blacks, it was about Hispanics, and the first polls came out and two old white guys were at the top of it. Now it feels like, all of the social, whatever, all of the hip people are happy again.
Yeah, the identity politics crowd. There's certainly room for everybody in a field that's as wide open as the Democratic primary field is right now. But I think what we're seeing after the debates is a shift in favor of a couple particular female candidates, whether it's Kamala Harris or Elizabeth Warren, who both had excellent performances. And I think really a lot of voters out there do want to see America elect a female president. Hillary Clinton was a bad test case in 2016. She's, got a unique set of problems and baggage that came along with her as a candidate. But there are many voters out there, including strong majorities of both Democrat men and women, who see a surge in female candidates as a good thing for their party and for the country. And so I wouldn't be surprised at all to see a female clinch the nomination.
Although, though, to your point, until a week ago, maybe they wanted to see a female, but when they were asked by pollsters, they went with Biden or Bernie. So does that say something about the natural inclination to say one thing but always vote for the men, or does it say something, just to your point, that that Hillary was such a bad candidate that perhaps she casts a stigma or question marks about a woman candidate?
Ultimately, I think voters on both sides of the aisle are going to ultimately prioritize other factors and not gender when it comes to voting, which I think is a great thing. I think that suggests, that women have made so much progress that it's no longer simply about who's a man and who's a woman. But Democrat voters, as with any primary, aren't just thinking about their favorite candidates or the issues. They're also thinking about this other very hard to describe quality, which is electability. And they're thinking about who can face off against President Trump and how will the, gender politics shape up. And in a recent poll, a very strong majority of Americans said they want to see a female president, but only about a third of people said that they thought that their neighbors would think that it would be good that we have a female president. So I think there's some suspicion that Americans are more sexist than we actually are, or that voters are going to hold it against a candidate simply because she's a woman, when that may not actually be the case. So that's more encouraging news that Americans might not be as sexist as we think that one another.
We only got 30 seconds, but I got to ask you, though, history shows that it's usually women who don't vote for women. So where does that fall on the sexist category?
Well, a small majority of all voters are female. 53% of voters are women because women have a higher propensity to vote. And I think women, like men, are ultimately going to vote on the issues that they care most about. It's sort of a myth that women care only about a certain subset of issues, paid family leave or abortion. Women care about the economy. They care about health care, and they're going to be voting really top of mind, focus on those issues rather than, whether or not it's a male or female running.
Hadley Heath Manning, always appreciate it. Thank you.